Great morning. Thrilled to be with you for our BMG today. As I just mentioned, this topic, serving others, I am so passionate about. And I think that so many people don't break through to their full potential because they don't leverage what they have learned, their experiences, their connections, whatever they have that can change other people's lives. And there's so many cool little psychological things here. I know for a fact, if you can just take one thing from today's talk, it will change your life. I promise you this. So I'm just going to refer immediately to the document. So if you guys can pull that up really quickly. Is this big enough? Do you need me to make it larger? That's okay. Awesome. So very simple quote. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Martin Luther King Jr. I want you to actually jot this down. Think about this very quickly. When is the last time you served somebody else? When's the last time you served somebody else? Was it this morning? Was it yesterday? Was it over the weekend? Was it a week ago? Was it a year ago? Hopefully not a decade ago, right? When's the last time that you served somebody else? How did you serve them? How did you serve them? How did it make you feel? So who wants to share? When's the last time that you served somebody else? Matt?
I mean, it's basically in my job title. I'm a personal technology support specialist. So every day I serve. And so it happened yesterday. It'll happen today. When I donate to the Salvation Army, I serve. So it's very easy to take. That's, the onus of society, and especially with the, exasperation of social media. So to me, serving is giving back to others, especially others that are less fortunate. And so it's not how you necessarily treat others, but also what you can do for them and how you put them on the pedestal. That really defines you as either a taker or a giver. And so being in that space, and also part of my being Jewish, you do your mitzvahs, your presence, it's a part of serving other people. So it's inherent in terms of who I am. And I always had that mentality where it's not always about me, it's how can I be there for you.
I love it. I love it. Anybody else want to share? When's the last time that you served someone?
I'll share. So like Matt, it's part of my job as a nurse to serve people like on the daily whenever I'm at work. And it makes me feel good regardless of the response I get from like the patients and the families. But it especially makes me feel good when I'm recognized. Like recently, a family left 2 cards for 2 of the employees. One was for me, one was for my coworker. And just thanking us for our care for their kid and everything. So that was really nice.
I love it. I love it. How did it make you feel?
It made me feel great. Kind of reassured me in what I do.
100%. I love it. So here's the interesting thing. When we shift gears a little bit, self-preservation is something that we have to talk about very quickly, because the truth is that when we serve other people, there is some form of self-interest. It's natural, right? And nobody on this call can sit here and tell me that there's not a form of self-interest. There always is. As a living organism, we all have self-preservation, right? If we didn't do self-preservation, we wouldn't eat, we wouldn't sleep, we wouldn't do all the things that we need to do, we wouldn't survive. So self-preservation is a necessity. Living organisms operate in self-preservation to sustain themselves. That's where the self-interest part comes in. So here's the really cool thing. And by the way, guys, as I'm going through this, if you have any questions, just raise your hand or stop me. But here's the really cool part. We want to take self-interest to self-enlightenment. And what we're really saying here is you must be willing to benefit through serving others, not putting yourself as the focal point. Okay. Let me share something with you very quickly. If somebody sits here and says, hey, look, man, I cannot pay attention to other people. I have enough of my own problems. hey, I can't worry about investing. I already have enough bills lined up. If you fight for the lack, if you focus on the limit, then that's all you're going to perpetuate back to you, right? If you stay in this area of, I don't have this, I need that, then you're constantly reinforcing those habits. And over time, that's the only life you're ever going to have. So let me share this with you. If you want to turn the attention to the monkey on your back, here's a really cool shift. Just start helping other people focus on their problems, because now you're no longer focusing on your problems, right? When you're helping other people solve their problems, it goes back to the Zig Ziglar quote. When you help enough people to achieve their dreams, in turn, you will achieve your own dreams. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about when you shift the focus to other people's problems, your problems become dwarfed, right? So once I started to understand this, I'm telling you guys, it revolutionized my life. And this is a personal story, and not everybody knows this story. In 2011, I was faced with 7 felonies. True story. I was in jail, right? In that moment, I went to school, paying for school, worked 3 jobs around school, and I saw these felonies, and I almost felt sorry for myself, admittedly. Part of the process of, by the way, I got a deferred dismissal, so these are no longer on my record. That's a whole story. I'll tell it to you sometime separately. But the point is that when we talk about part of that process, I had to do community service. That's part of the process of going through this. It was like 250 hours. And so when I did the community service, I started to work in a soup kitchen. And I realized that even in this light of being forced through service, I was helping other people, and it opened my eyes, right? And it took the problem away from me. And now it was, how can I leverage where I am right here, right now, to impact other people? So I want to stop you guys, I want to stop really quickly. What problem do you help others solve? I want you to think about this. What problem are you helping other people solve? Because again, look, self-interest is okay, but it must be enlightened. It must be leveraged through serving other people. So you always want to do more than you're paid for. Here's the thing. If you wish to receive something, you must give something, right? It's cause and effect. That's part of the process. So it's kind of like this. Let's say that you're in a place of work and you're not an entrepreneur, solopreneur, business owner, whatever. Let's say you work for somebody else. If you want to get a promotion, you don't go up to the boss and demand a promotion. No, you go above and beyond before the promotion is available. So when the promotion becomes available, the boss goes, hey, we have this promotion coming up. I know Meg's a perfect candidate for this because she's gone above and beyond for the last 6 months. Nobody has put in the effort for her. She's doing more than we pay her for. I can only imagine the results she'll get when we put her into a management position, right? So it is going above and beyond. You can think, you guys remember when we did the morning routine talk? The cool part about that is that you are basically showing up and making small investments in your future every single day before your future is calling on that skill set, that experience, that knowledge, whatever it is. We're making small investments. That's what we're talking about here. When we lead by serving other people with zero expectation of a return, we are making small investments in our future. Now, it might not come back today. It might not even come back from this person, but that energy goes out into the universe and it's going to come back to you. So again, if you wish to receive, you must give. Let me share it to you like this. You can be a really good sales individual, right? And you could be a great person at sales. And if you're good at making sales, you will make a living. But when you go above and beyond the sale and you provide additional service, then you make multiple sales and you can make a fortune. But this all comes back to the concept of You go above and beyond. You give, give, give. If you want to receive something, you must go out and give to the world. So here's a truth. People that are well taken care of are going to open doors that you do not have access to yourself. I see this all the time. I see it all the time where you support, you guys remember the 3 I's. Maybe you guys have or haven't heard this from me, but invite, inform, introduce, right? So if we are going above and beyond and we're opening doors for other people, we're introducing someone that they might not have had access to that circle, that community, that individual, we've brought a ton of value. And guess what? It's going to help their business. It's going to help their culture. It's going to help their day, whatever it is. If you want to receive, you must give, right? So everybody good so far with me? Awesome. So here's a big thing. Now, guys, we are going to dive into a quick exercise, but here's a massive part to all of this. If you sow, you will reap. The statement does not go, if you need, you will reap. No, that's not how it goes. The statement goes, if you plant or if you sow, then you will reap. So guess what? If you really need to reap, what do you really need to do? You really need to sow. That's right. And so the point is that, and I really want to sit with the group and actually do this exercise very quickly. So everybody grab a pen, paper, whatever you have in front of you, notes, post-it note, whatever it is. And I want you to start jotting down the things you need to reap. So what I'm saying here is, what are the things that you want or need to gain in life, right? Let me give you an example to just get you going. Money is probably going to be one for a lot of people. We would love to have some additional money, right? So let's start. And again, just go through what are some of the things that you want to reap. Now, let's keep this to no longer than a year out. All right. So whether this is in the next month, whether it's this week, whether it's between now and year's end, or just between now and a year from now. So keep it in that time frame. What do you need to reap? I'm going to start throwing out some thought joggers. Maybe this is professional, whether that's a promotion, a larger base of people that you can serve, whatever that is. What do you need to reap in the career side? How about relationships? Whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a family relationship that you need to rekindle, what do you need to reap? By the way, if anybody finishes, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. What do you need to reap? Now, guys, these don't have to be super big picture either, by the way. Maybe you're just preparing for some Christmas gifts and you want a little bit of extra money, right? To prepare for those Christmas gifts. What is it? Whatever it is, what do you need to reap?
What happens if you can't think of 10, Keegan, and you only have a couple?
Yeah, just do your best, Matt. And then basically what I'll do is I'll kind of go around the room and just ask a couple from people. And then maybe that'll help give you some thought joggers or additional ideas. But you might not need 10, by the way. And that's perfectly fine.
Well, the ones I have written down are so profound that I don't need 10 to sit there and, keep me occupied with 10 different things.
Sure.
So like the 4 or 5 that I have, suffice for 10 different things, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Wait, could you guys not see my screen before?
No, we can see it.
It just came up. It said participants can see your screen now. Okay. So Matt, since you kind of kicked it off, and you said it sounds like you have some deeper, more profound ones. Why don't you kick us off, man? What is one thing that you or multiple that you would like to reap?
Well, for me, the first one, which I've been pretty diligent on, is losing more weight, or as we discussed in the past, Operation Hebrew High. So
Okay.
that's one thing that I'm definitely working on. More friends for me. That's always been my kosher kryptonite, and not like 3 Doors Down or Superman. And so, it's easy for me to get acquaintances, for me to get friends. It's like winning the Powerball. So for the other thing is I want to do it from my website again, get more traction there, and engage in more chores and responsibility. I mean, those four keep me easily going for a year.
Perfect. Love it. Let's stop there. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Matt. We'll come back to this. By the way, anyone else on here have something health related? We're kind of at that pivotal time in the year where people either start to check out because Thanksgiving's around the corner and then Christmas. But then what happens at the end of December and the beginning of January? Everybody's top 3 goals is always something health related. They're like, oh, I just put on 35 pounds because I ate 600 turkeys over the past 2 months. I'm going to go lose some weight. And so I share this because everybody wants to have some form of health transformation. It's natural, right? It's natural for all people.
Egan, it is not natural to eat 600 turkeys. I cry foul.
I love turkeys. Okay, Matt. Meg, I'd love to hear some of yours. What are some of the things that you need to reap?
So one of mine was getting a raise.
Love it.
Like Matt said, new friendships, a better housing plan, and a better gym routine.
Love it. Awesome. So again, similar, right? Similar categories, I would say. The friendship, the raise, which by the way, we can totally talk about. I went through a finances course and I think there's a really cool script and it's very simple to ask for a raise strategically without going to your boss and saying, hey boss, I need a raise, right? There's an actual strategy behind this, which we can totally talk about, but awesome. Thank you for sharing. Bob, would love to hear some of yours.
You got it. So for me, because you know that I'm in retirement age and kind of supposed to be retired, I need more money in the bank because our savings has took a hit this year. So just to make this my 70s and 80s a little bit more comfortable, I would love to have a little bit more money in the bank. I need it. I've been saying this for a number of years, and maybe Keegan, you'll help me stay accountable this year, is to start an art foundation, which is really very good. I really want to start serving everyone as a mystic. I want a closer relationship with my children, and I want to bring more retreats into the world.
Let's go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So these are some fantastic accolades and things that you would like to reap. I love it. Amazing. And we're gonna break this down in a minute. It's really just it's awesome to hear other people's things, because what you'll start to notice is there's a lot of overlap. We might address it as something different, but for instance, all 3 of you said something career related, right? So, that's kind of taking it that 10,000 foot view, but there's overlap here. Ashley, would love to hear some of yours. What are some of the things you need to reap? She might be driving, so I'm going to pass it to Marlene.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My first one and most important is this Meniere's disease that I have with the vertigo. I've been battling it for several days now. And in fact, I have a new doctor appointment to go to this afternoon. So that's first and foremost. I've figured out some of the components, but not all of it. Another thing is my mother's still grieving the loss of my father. They were together, married for 64 years, and he just recently passed in August. And so she's facing a new life. And so I've been working on really encouraging her and keeping her uplifted and letting her know that, it's all right to cry. And that's a very important step of allowing somebody to grieve.
Right.
And then I have this crazy idea that my family has put into my brain. I already have a YouTube channel that I signed up for, and I want to start doing a small cooking show, teaching people that in today's world, Shop within your pantry, your freezer, your refrigerator. Don't let anything go to waste, and learn to be better self-sufficient in these financial challenges in the food area. Whether you're a single person, because we know it's difficult to cook for just one, or whether it's for a family.
I love it. Love it. And we've
Thank
talked
you.
about the last one there, right? So we'll have to have a
Yes.
conversation there because I mean, I think that the timing is critical.
Yes.
You've got something that's really beautiful there. And I know your skill set and everything that we've talked about in the past, it's like, got to do it, you know,
Yeah.
you got to do it.
Yes.
So all amazing things. Ash, I'm going to give you a chance real quick. If you're still driving, don't even worry about it. We'll come back to you. Okay, we're going to come back to Ash. So one thing that I'd love for you guys to do is, again, take a minute to really look at what you need to reap and jot all these things down. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I would assume, or I would hope, that everybody should have put one thing down based on the 8 lifestyle categories, because nobody is at the perfect point. So there's all things that we need to improve upon in that. So again, to run down those, you've got, and Bob, check me on this, but you've got health, income, career, family and relationships, recreation, spirituality, personal development, and what's the last one I'm missing? Environment. There it is. So the point is that I know this for a fact, even for me, and I focus on this every day. None of those areas are perfect. I can improve something on every one of those, right? So we should have at least one thing for each of those categories. Now, let's go through the next part. The next part is, okay, we have all the things that we want to reap, the things that we want to receive. What do you need to plant each day in order to get there? Now, by the way, if you're starting from ground zero, these should be very, very small baby steps, okay? Let me give you an example. So if you said that you wanted to have more money in the bank, a baby step example here would be, you could potentially have a conversation with a financial advisor. You could do some research on investment strategies. You can analyze different revenue streams. There are multiple little steps that we could do now that would contribute to that result, right? So, Matt, since you started us off, I'm going to go back to you, my friend. What are some things that you need to plant each day to help on the weight, to help with the friends, to move the needle forward with the website, to increase those responsibilities? What are some things that you would need to do each day to reap those rewards?
Well, I think I have started the weight process pretty religiously, where I will do my burpees every day. So it's basic burpees. So just something as simple as that, walking, weightlifting, what have you. I have my Apple Watch to help guide me to know where I'm at. So that to me is just a slow but sure process. In terms of more friends, you know, that to me is the kosher conundrum. Because I'm self-employed, I don't really have those social opportunities. So I'm trying different meetups down here, but the meetups I find, it's more like people are wanting an activity, an acquaintance than their friends. So that has been a challenge for me. I have friends in other parts of the country, but nothing down here. So that is still work in progress. I may try some new meetups, see if I can, you know, shake things up in that respect. But it's something I struggle with most of my life. And so I don't have an easy answer there.
Sure.
In terms of a website, I have to get with somebody on that. I have several people. One kind of I flaked out. We can talk about that, Keegan. So, and then engaging more chores. I mean, I got all these responsibilities around me. I have a list that I have to slowly tackle. So just getting in the zone, and I know where I need to be based on where we are right now in the calendar year. So I have a lot of ambitious things to sit there and take up there. So, as the saying goes, there's enough on my plate, but I'm not necessarily hungry.
Absolutely. So let me twist this question and I'm going to pose this to the group. One of the things that Matt said that he needed to reap was better friendships, relationships, right? In a newer area. When we talk about what we need to plant each day, what are some things that you as a group could recommend to Matt that would help him to reap these rewards? Let me throw this out there. It's so interesting, right? When we started this off, we talked about self-preservation, but this entire concept is about serving other people. And so it's interesting because we're talking about what we need to reap, which again goes back to self-preservation. But if we really want to get these results, we want to shift the focus on what can we plant each day in the service of others to help us reap these results. My point is we're shifting the focus from this is what we need to how can I give this to the world? Because we go back up to this quote again, which is gold. If you wish to receive, you must give. So if I go back to Matt's example in the friendship, we're talking about what we want to reap and also having that service-based ideology for what we're planting each day. My point would be, Matt, what is a hobby of yours? And literally throw one out for me. Could be anything.
Besides technology, I'm a big animal person.
Awesome, right? I know that you go and feed the ducks. You do things like that, right?
Yeah, it's Operation Foul Ball.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're talking about what you can plant and we're talking about how we can serve other people. There's potentially a way that you can support other people around that animal kingdom. And look, it might be as simple as this. It might be as simple as you're walking down a street and you see an older individual that looks like they're struggling financially. You could just simply give them a handful of bread to go feed the ducks. Now you're both reaping that reward of that hobby aspect. You're able to make a friend, but you're serving somebody else through the process, right? So anybody else have any other feedback or thoughts on this? Bob?
You could definitely like volunteer at an animal shelter. That would kind of get you with other people too. Since you are self-employed, that would get you around other people doing like-minded things.
Amazing example. Awesome job, Meg. That's a great one, right? Volunteer at an animal shelter. Now you're going to meet like-minded people that also like animals. And it gives you that opportunity to suffice that hobby of yours. And then the point is we want to reap friendships, but we're leading by serving other people. And so that was a perfect example, right? Now we can go and serve the animal community going this way. Marlene said she loves the fowl. Awesome. So yeah, let's go to Meg now. So Meg, we talked about some of the things that you wanted to reap, right? So we talked about the raise. Okay. We talked about friendships. I can't even read what this one is. Housing that I wrote. I can't read this other one though. Starts with a W. I don't know. You had said something else. Okay. So what is something, again, with the same question, what do you need to plant each day right now to help reap those rewards?
I don't know, maybe like just a better routine, getting into better routine. I think that last one was a better workout routine.
That's it.
But
workout.
and then one big thing for me, like for the raise, I know you said like go above and beyond. So just like working on compassion each day.
Awesome. I'm going to give you a little precursor on this one. Okay. We're talking about serving others. We're talking about what we want to reap. Very simple. What you want to reap is a raise, increase in pay, right? How do we get to that point by serving others? Let me share with you. I would go to my manager and say this, right? And you can, of course, critique the words based on how you want this message to come across. But hey, Megan, I love working here. I love being a part of this team. Everything that we stand for, helping the community, all these things, super important to me. I want to stay here long term. And so for me, I would love to receive a raise down the road. But before we even have that conversation, I want to make sure I'm doing everything within my control. So I wanted to come to you personally and see if there are any things that I can do for the team to help us get better results, right? So now you've turned this into, you're a team player, you're focused on the growth of the organization. And again, this is enabling you to go above and beyond, but you're not just going out and doing random things above and beyond that people aren't going to notice. You're having a conversation with the decision maker. So now the decision maker has you on the radar as somebody who either wants a promotion or a salary increase. And so when you pose it to the decision maker as, look, this isn't me demanding a raise. This is me asking how I can support our organization in hopes of down the road, I'm going to bring this conversation up again, whether that's 2 months, 3 months, 4, 6, whatever it is, about a raise. But I'm not leading with my self-vested interest. I am leading with the interest of the team first with the intent of getting that result. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does anybody else have feedback or questions on this? Bob?
Yeah, I think it's a great example. I love it. I would even go so far as to say, don't even mention you want to do this to get a raise. You just want to do this. You just want to help the team. And make sure that it's the person who can give you a raise, but don't even mention the raise at first. That's just my approach. Having been the person doing this and being the person hearing from people, it is best to know that you do it just for the sake of doing, just for the sake of serving. That will serve you even more powerfully, in my opinion. The other thing is, I did have something. What did I have? Hold on a second. I did have something specific for you to do, Megan. Oh, it's floating away. Maybe it'll come back. Hold on a second. What was the other thing you wanted to do?
So she said the raise, the friendships, housing, and workout plan.
Oh, workout plan. Yes. So find somebody who needs to work out even more than you do, and be their leader, right? So even if it is just taking them for a walk or helping them, you're doing it to help them, not to make no, don't come work with me so that I can work out. No, I want to work with you to work you out, and you're going to be working out at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. And
that's a total serving somebody else to help them work out. If you can find somebody like that, without even mentioning about you working out, but you're already going to be working out. So they're not doing it for you. They're doing it for you. You're doing it for them, and they know that. That's what I meant. Thank
absolutely. And again, in the same exact, go ahead.
I was just saying it came back. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah. And
Find somebody
on
to
this
help them.
same message, I think again that, you can have the self-preservation, you can have the self-interest. You just don't lead with that, right? You're not leading with, hey, I want to do this for me, or this is about me. You lead with the other person in mind, but you know that this is going to help you get to that level. So another example based on the workout plan is you could very easily say, maybe you have a friend, a colleague, or somebody that's like, hey, I'm struggling to stay accountable in the gym. And then you go to them and say, hey, look, I'd love to support you in being accountable at the gym. Boom. Now you can both be accountable, but you're coming to that because you know that you want to have a more solid workout plan, but you're not leading with that. You're leading by serving the other person. And then that energy is going to come back to you. Right. So love that. Bob, real quick, Meg, did you have any other thoughts or questions on this? Awesome. And again, it is, what are the things that we can plant the seeds? What are the things that we need to do right now that are going to lead to those results? And we want to do those things with other people in mind. Okay. So Bob, you had some really good ones. Money in the Bank, the Art Foundation, serving as a mystic, more retreats. Love all of these. Talk to us. So what do you need to plant?
So actually, I am planting all of them except for the Art Foundation. But I will say this, for relationship closer with my kids, you know that I spent the weekend with my kids over the weekend. And while we're here, I just texted my oldest son just to say, do you want to get together this afternoon to talk? And I know he does, and I'm just making time for him. And he said, yes, like later this afternoon would be great. So that's planting a seed, and he knows I'm doing it for him. So that's great. Thank you for pushing me just right this very minute to do this in real time. But the Art Foundation is something that I just am not planting a seed. I haven't for the longest time, and I'm struggling a little bit. So maybe I can use some help from people here. And we're having a New York moment. Excuse me here. Yeah, sorry about that. I just realized that. Yeah, what can I do? The Art Foundation it's really not that difficult. I want to start a foundation for artists, and I know exactly who they are and how to do this. I I I I'm hmm, I don't know. I could use some help
Does
if
anybody
that's
have any
possible.
thoughts or feedback here?
I have an idea. Why don't you part with an art, museum or, charity that's already established?
Great idea.
You're Matt. You're absolutely right. And of course, Keegan. I'm reminded of totally forgot about it.
Andrew?
Ah, Andrew. And I've been promising to write a proposal to coach the artists that work with him at a rate.
Beautiful.
Um,
So then
let me finish that. Let me sow that seed today. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Keegan.
another one, and this is just a thought, Bob, but you could potentially go on to Meetup and just pose a question to the community, an art community, and just say, hey, what problems are you guys facing? And then that's going to give you really good insight onto pain points that you could also provide a solution for.
Or you could sit there and get involved with your neighbors on the Nextdoor app.
I am on Nextdoor and I am on Meetup. I can get involved in both areas. That's perfect.
Yeah, use social media as a platform, Bob. That's a great way to get your message out there.
I love it. Thank you.
And
I'm writing
just
it
a
down.
side note, and we can put a pin on this for a different conversation, Bob, but
Yeah,
the income portion, I think that's a golden opportunity, because again, most people have money in some form on what they need to reap. But the truth of the matter is, here's the economic stance on income is when you solve a pain point and you provide a certain level of value, people will pay for that, right? So you either solve more problems for people or you bring more value to the table, and that's going to increase income. So again, we've got to go back to how can I use that information to serve other people? And my point is that when we're leading by the service of others and helping them get to their place, it's going to help us get to ours, right?
beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. All right, I'm going to pass it to Marlene. So again, Marlene, I know that you're not feeling too well, so I appreciate your energy. We talked about you had a couple really good ones. Now, out of all of these, of course, these are all important and valuable to you, but I'd really love to focus, if you're okay with it, I'd really love to focus for your sake and the groups on this whole YouTube concept and the conservation on the food, because I think there's a golden opportunity, and you're in a room full of entrepreneurs. So let's leverage these brilliant minds.
Wonderful.
So when we take
Go
this
ahead.
and we look at what we need to plant, what are some of your thoughts there?
Well, I'm going to throw this out because I tend to talk about this almost every time I'm in group meetings. Number one is the attitude of gratitude first thing every morning. Got to set that proper. That's my faith, my belief. And I don't believe that and I truly believe that when I give my day and my thoughts to God first, it opens doors because I'm in the right attitude. I am not a big social media person. I am strictly on Facebook. You can't find me on Twitter, texting, whatever else is out there. I mean, Twitter or TikTok or all that stuff. But YouTube, I think, is an excellent place that I could get started. And obviously I could post to my friends and ex-coworkers and high school alumni and family through Facebook that I'm going to be doing this. And the big thing is that I have to get into my kitchen, open up this laptop, turn on my YouTube and camera, and go ahead and do a test run and watch it, see what I need to do to maybe improve. I think probably the first thing I should probably do is watch somebody that's done something like this on YouTube. And then I'm going to be quiet and let y'all kind of chime in and help me on this, because I really do believe the concept that I have is extremely important. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. This is going to be more of our new life going forward with all the higher prices that have just not stopped on food.
100%. And so again, I love the concept. I love the business and the mission. How can we leverage everything you just said with the concept of serving other people first to get you to that place? What's one little thing that you could do to serve other people to help you achieve that same goal? Does anybody else have a thought here? Bob?
Keegan, I've got a thought. So one thing, and Marlene, I'm looking it up right now to send you a link to somebody that you could see as an example. But
Thank you.
I think you're going to need is somebody to do the camera work for you. It's very important.
Okay.
So I am sure that within a 25-mile radius of where you are right now, there is a young person who knows how to do all of this and needs to just get practice being doing the filming.
Okay.
Find that person. Do you have a community college near you?
Actually, yes, I have. I do.
Contact them and say you need a videographer. An intern who wants even work with the school to do an internship for a videographer and have them come and do your pilot. I love that idea. So you're serving them. You're looking to serve the student. And then you need a videographer. And then the rest is history already. I already see this as a super success.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Oh, that's a great idea.
So I love what Bob just said there. So let's capture that. If you wanted to start this venture in the cooking platform, one of your hurdles or obstacles is the video side. And so a really good way that you can serve other people, to Bob's point, but still having your own self-preservation or self-interest in mind is, again, you could go to that community college and say, hey, look, I was curious if you have any up-and-coming videographers that want to practice their skill set so that they can get better at what they're doing. You haven't even talked about yourself. And now when you're leading with their interest in mind, the school's going to go, oh yeah, sure, we'd love to support that. Here's a list of people.
Awesome.
And then boom.
Awesome.
Here's another thought that you can do on Facebook today that would be immediate. You can simply create a poll on Facebook, and it doesn't have to be like an actual survey. Like you can just do a simple post and ask one question. Like it doesn't have to be in depth, but the point is put content out there to ask the community, what food struggles are you guys facing? And you can word that differently, of course, but the point is that, again, we're talking about serving others. You go on, you post a survey. I have this concept. I'd really love to serve the community. I know a lot of people like myself are struggling with their budgeting or conscious spending, or however you want to phrase it, on food as inflation's going up. So I have this concept where I feel like it can help a lot of people, but I'd love to hear what problems you guys are facing first. And now it's planted the seed that, hey, I'm going to have a solution for you guys around this food crisis, epidemic, however you want to phrase it. But you're focusing on them first.
Nice. Nice. I like that idea. Very good.
So any other thoughts or questions or comments here, guys?
I can speak to the Facebook poll. I did that for a business that I want to start, and it was actually pretty, like, people were super responsive on it. So I would definitely do that. And then also, I would also suggest maybe once you make your pilot video or your first go around video, send it out to like a group of people you know and have them critique it for you, because I feel like other people, like, you'll see your faults as well, but other people will see it from a different perspective, you know?
Meg's on fire today. Let's go.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Good stuff, guys. Awesome conversation. That's the whole reason we're here. So let's
And
let's
I'll just
Go ahead,
say,
Bob. Go
Marlene,
ahead.
I put it in the chat. It's Italian grandma cooking, and I want you to do exactly as she does.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Grab that.
all you have to do
and,
is click that link.
And I want to know how quick you can create that pilot so we can see it. I don't know whose idea that was to share the pilot with friends, but I hope you consider us your friends.
Well, I would hope so.
So I'm gonna pull all this together for us really quickly and then see if you have any last minute thoughts, comments, questions, and then we'll close out, guys. So again, the whole concept of today is on serving other people. Now, again, if you box yourself into that ideology of, oh, I can't help others, I've got too many problems of my own, oh, I can't support that local community because I don't even have enough money to pay my bills. If you stay in that place and you support or reinforce that type of energy, you're always going to get those results. You're reinforcing those patterns. Imagine doing that for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. How difficult is it going to be to change that after? So the point is that we all have a level of self-preservation. That's the dynamic of a living organism, right? Parasites, bacteria, all of it fights to stay alive. So part of what we do is an element of self-preservation, but we want to take it from self-preservation to enlightenment. And in order to take that self-interest to enlightenment, we have to be willing to benefit by serving other people. So when we lead with how we're serving others, that's the golden ticket. It shifts the perspective. It's not, I heard this story and this literally almost brought me to tears. This is a true story. This is actually from a client of mine. So she said that there's this gentleman that would call her. And every time he would call her, I want you guys to really hear this story. True story. So lady that I work with, gentleman calls her. And this guy calls her 2-3 times. And every time he calls, he asks, hey, we are supporting the homeless community. This is in Chicago. We are supporting the homeless community in Chicago. Was just curious if you could donate any additional funds that you have so we can make sure our homeless can eat. And this guy would keep making these calls. And he did this for 2 to 3 hours every single Monday through Friday. And this lady started talking to this young guy. And after about the 6th conversation, what she actually found out was this dude lost his home. Okay. He was living in a hotel. He did not even have a full-time job. But guess what? Every single day, even though this man didn't even know if he was going to eat, he spent 2 to 3 hours calling strangers to ask if they would donate money to help the homeless eat. And it's fascinating because this lady talked to this young man for months. And she said, you know what? Finally, because he opened up this truth to me, I had some contacts in the greater Chicago area. He said that he would do anything, construction, anything. I just so happened to have a friend looking to hire. I made some introductions. 2 days later, he had a full-time job. And for months, little by little, he saved and saved and saved. and he was able to get out of that hotel and get his own place. But guess what? Every single night, this man would call for 2 to 3 hours to raise money to feed the homeless, and he didn't even know where his next meal was coming from. So I wanted to impress that upon you because, again, in order to go from self-preservation to enlightenment, we must benefit through the service of other people. We must serve others. And if we always lead with other people's interest in mind, it will always come back to us. So think about what problem you help other people solve. And then I want you to say, okay, well, if I wish to receive, I must give. What can I give to help other people that will intrinsically lead back to supporting me as well? But you lead with the other people in mind. You lead with that service mentality because it always comes back. And that's the part of the self-preservation. So again, if you need to reap anything right now, whether that's health, whether that's finances, whether that's more retreats, whatever it is, you've got to think about the small things that you can plant today that are going to support the people that need your service, that in turn will lead to this. For example, Bob is doing this awesome concept of, hey, let's host master classes so that we can provide value to the community because we're leading with the community's interest in mind first. When you lead by giving, the right people are going to come into that group. And then, hey, guess what? We have additional support, and that's the retreat. But the point is, you start by providing value to the community first before you ever ask for anything. Does that make sense? Awesome, guys. So what questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks do you have here? Anything? Okay.
Other than this was fantastic and very helpful, I have no snide remarks. I'll leave that to Matt.
Okay.
I mean, don't I have the right to take a vacation for a week?
You do, Matt. You sure do. Was this helpful?
Oh, definitely. I was pondering the whole time. So
Awesome. So again, guys, my challenge to everyone on this call, take the conversations that we've had today, take whatever you need to reap and just focus on one thing. Don't overcomplicate this. Take one thing and find a way to support the community first by leveraging a return. Okay. So determine what you need to reap and then find a way to go out and serve the community around that concept, and it will come back to you. All right. By the way, if anybody has any additional questions, thoughts, comments, or wants to take this conversation further, feel free to shoot me a text, email, or call. Would love to. But thank you all so much. I think that this is perfect timing because, of course, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. One of my favorite quotes is, gratitude is the simplest yet one of the most powerful ways that we can help other people grow. And that includes ourselves. So again, go serve others. Let's change the world. Love you guys. Let's make it a week.